So you guys are, Sedgwick has excused himself because he had some other stuff that he needed to attend to, and you are standing next to the door leading out, and Jake is there waiting for you guys. He's got your horses ready with him, and he's like, so you guys ready to go? One other thing to recall, if you remember, when you first approached Sedgwick's Tower, Jake, Calidor, and a person named Guy were busy defeating large armies of skeletons and zombies and other various and sundry undead that they were single-handedly annihilating. And during the fighting, you saw Jake dashing about doing devastating damage, injuring stuff greatly, and then his friend Calidor would come along behind with a large sword and chop it up. So there's quite a... So Jake is a very capable combatant based on what you saw earlier today.
So what you're saying is we don't have Dr. Tink DDS try to perform unauthorized dental surgery on you.
I mean, you're welcome to. There were some oddities about his character, if you recall. If you recall as well, there was some oddities going on. He seemed to have some gaps in his memory.
I think
he wasn't an automaton though. Yeah,
he's a construct of some kind.
Did you guys learn that, or at least is that your?
One of us did.
Yeah, okay. So one of you figured out. Yeah, he is very clearly. He is an extraordinarily advanced robot that is almost indistinguishable from a person. But you're pretty sure he's not an actual person. He himself doesn't seem to be aware of that, though. He thinks he's real. He thinks he's a real boy.
Yeah.
I'm a real boy. He thinks he's people. Yeah.
The other thing I couldn't remember is I think you'd mentioned that one of those trio had been dead for about 30 years or 10 years.
This one, in fact, you remembered that Jake has not. He actually died about 20 years ago. Yeah.
Right.
Calidor, at least the version you saw of him, was an elf, and elves are notoriously long-lived. And you didn't know anything about Guy.
Okay.
I know his name's Guy Froststep. That's what I know about.
It's Jake Froststep. Guy doesn't actually have a last name. He's just Guy.
Oh.
Which one was the psionicist?
That was Guy. Guy was the one who was using
because the other two were quite friendly, and he was rather diffident.
Okay. If that's the impression you got, I'm not going to Mighty Boss Tones. You know, that's the impression you get. Go for it. So anyway, Jake's sitting here waiting with your horses. So you guys ready to go? We should. I mean, probably the quicker we catch up, we don't want to give him too big of a lead. It's probably undead, so it's not like
this one?
They're not going to have to stop. You're welcome to travel however you prefer. You had horses and he's got them ready. So
I'm just going to go ahead and mount up.
Okay.
I'm going to go for the snitch.
Mount up. Let's go.
Okay, so everybody's riding except for Biddy, who's on his broom. Biddy, are you flying alongside above ground, or like how elevated are you?
Yeah, I'm flying alongside, just like
horse
20
height?
feet above the ground. Maybe a little above the horses, but not much.
Okay, so you're like 10, 15 feet up?
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay. Because if you were going to be way up, you might get some advantages in sight and whatnot. Okay,
yeah, I guess I could. I don't know. Maybe I will go up actually for sight advantage. How far do I need to go up to get a good sight advantage?
I mean, we'll do the math. We know how Pythagorean theorem works, so if you want to, you tell me how high you want to go.
All right, I'll go.
I wouldn't recommend going up too far because you may not be able to communicate with your party. If you get too high, they're not going to be able to see or hear you. It's really windy and cold. The higher up the gold, the colder it gets, too.
Man, look at Perfidious Pete just being a fanboy of Pythagoras.
Fucking Pythagoras is the shit, PJ. Shut up.
I mean, you can go up. So you can go up 30 feet, and no matter like how loud the wind is howling, I can talk to you with awakened mind. But
I'll
just remember, I'll heal you on the first bounce. Yeah,
it does get like so. If you go up much more than like 100 feet or so, Biddy, it's really fucking cold. Like it's cold outside, but once you get about 100 feet up in the air, it starts getting bitterly cold, and it's super windy.
Well, I know I'm good after the first bounce, so I'll do 100 if that's kind of the ceiling here for communication and cold.
At 100 feet, it's gonna be you're not like if you shout, people can sort of faintly hear you, but communication will be not impossible but difficult.
Right. 75 feet.
Okay, so you guys, if you yell at each other, you can hear.
And it's a clear day, I presume.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's overcast. So the whole time you've been down south in the area around here, it has been overcast. You have not seen the sun since probably about 8 to 9 hours before your carriage arrived in Notch. It's just constantly overcast and dreary. It's not dark, or I mean, there's ample light. It's daytime, but also there's constant cloud cover. Like, it's always overcast, always.
Does Cure Light Wounds take care of vitamin D deficiency?
I mean, it would probably, it's more of a lesser restoration sort of thing, because it's more of a disease than an injury.
Excellent.
But yeah, you don't have to worry about vitamin D deficiency. You've got milk, so yeah.
We got time.
Yep.
I've got lettuce.
Biddy's 75 feet and up. Tink is trying to figure out how to not get scurvy from lettuce. You guys are wandering. So you set out, you start making a pretty good pace. The horses are struggling a little bit because you're getting out into some like fresh, untrod snow. Jake seems to be following some manner of track or trail. You guys are welcome to make a survival check if you'd like to see if you can figure out what he is tracking.
Who we just asked him?
Area, but I will.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, well, I mean, following the guys that took Sedgwick, or the Sedgwick bot. Look, he was like, following the trail.
I rolled a 14.
It looks like snow to you, Colonel. You don't see any kind of tracks or you're not sure what the hell it is that he's tracking. He seems to be intent on studying signs and signals in the snow, but you can't make him out. You have no idea what he's looking at.
Okay.
I got a 15.
No idea. Did anybody beat a 25?
This is a survival roll, yeah?
Correct.
I got a natural 1.
No.
You died.
I got a natural 1 as well. While I was trying to scan the earth, I fell off my horse.
You
Okay.
instantly
I got
get
22,
frostbite.
Yeah, you should just die when you fail a survival check critically.
Right?
There's no critical fails on a skill check. You just got a low score. It's not an attack roll. There's no automatic failure. You just gotta you add your bonus and you rolled bad, so you're confused.
Not even a little frostbite pinky toe.
No, I mean, you get whipped around and jostled off your horse. Tink drops his head of lettuce in the snow because he's trying to figure out. He's looking at the tracks and he drops his lettuce accidentally. Slexy, did you get a 25 or better?
I got a 22. But...
Okay,
So I guess if it fell in the snow, it's now iceberg lettuce.
So
yeah?
he's tracking something, but well, at least it looks like he's tracking something. As far as you guys can tell, he's doing what you would expect a person to do if they were following tracks and signs and traces in the snow. But when you look at it, you just see, that's fucking smooth snow. How the hell is he following a trail on that? It doesn't make any sense. The other thing that you notice is Jake is not on a horse, and yet he is having absolutely no difficulty keeping pace with your horses. He is fast.
Okay.
Like, how fast? So, like, a horse is what, 40?
Horse's base move is 40. His appears to be at least that or possibly higher.
Are we moving a little slower, though, because of the snow?
The horses are struggling a little bit, yeah, but, like, you just get the sense watching Jake move that he is very quick. Like, his foot speed. He moves rapidly when he moves.
Well, I'm certainly happy that Jake is with us.
Okay, well, you follow, I mean, things go relatively uneventfully. You're just following a man who is following, as far as you can tell, nothing, and you're going out into a vast expanse of just snowy tundra, and like, it's just a wash. After a while, there were like some scrub trees and rocks and whatnot when you were around SedgewickCo, and after maybe like 2 hours of traveling, that stops, and at this point, it's basically just snow. Like, you're in what would be considered like an Arctic area. It is just snow and snowpack. There's snow, snowpack, and ice, nothing else. Like, you don't see anything.
Can we tell what direction we're going?
You're going almost due south. You're going just very slightly east of due south.
Oh, good.
Is that because the weather conditions have changed, or have we just moved into a different climatic condition?
You've traveled south a little bit further, and it looks like, I mean, it's slightly colder, only a little. It's just you've crossed. So make another survival check for me. This one's gonna be much easier. Just tell me whether you beat a 10 or not.
Yeah, I got a natural 12.
Okay.
Plus 7.
So that's good enough. Tink, you notice that in the last couple hours you have transitioned from being in the tundra. You are now in permafrost. This is Arctic area where it is always frozen.
So we're heading towards the wall.
Most definitely, you know that for certain. Like, the wall is to the south of you, and you are going very slightly east of due south. So yes, you are headed almost directly toward the wall.
Marty's gonna ask Jake. So
What's
how
up?
far is it from where we are now to the wall?
I don't know. Unless we're gonna go like another 3 weeks, the wall's like pretty far away. I mean, Notch is like 600 miles from the wall, and we're a couple hours south of Notch. So you guys aren't exactly making super great pace. Plus, those horses ain't gonna make it all the way to the wall. If we're going all the way to the wall, at some point that your horse seems nice, but his name's gonna be Dinner, whatever his name is. It's gonna get changed if we have to go all the way to the wall. So let's hope we catch up before then.
I'm gonna ask, does it look like we're catching up, or?
I mean, so near as I can tell, there's some undead who have got him. Looks to be like I don't know, it's a relatively sizable party. They've taken some efforts to conceal their tracks. Looks like at least one of them cast Pass Without a Trace. I mean, didn't you guys notice?
We tried, believe me.
Well, anyway, there's like 4 or 5 really big somethings. I'm gonna guess, I don't know, giant maybe. There's some other assorted undead, something with feet that are bony, something that's floating, I don't know, Wraith, Shadow, could be anything, who the hell knows. And then some other
We
things.
playing charades.
No, it's just he's looking at blank snow and he can tell you what walked over it, even though somebody
I know,
cast
that's more
Pass
like
Without a Trace.
Pictionary. This is more like Pictionary.
He seems confused that you guys can't tell. He's like, you guys are adventurers and trackers? You didn't pick this up?
Well, more of the first, not so much the latter.
Okay. Well, I mean, alright. It's probably why Sedgwick sent me. He's a pretty sharp guy. Anyway, yeah, it's like a party of undead. Some of them seem to be carrying something. I'm guessing that's probably one of them's carrying Sedgwick. One of the big guys probably, I'd guess giant from the shape of the tracks, but, you know, could
Can
be,
you,
could be a
tell what
really
kind of-
large ogre, maybe. I don't know.
Can you tell what kind of pace they're setting right now? Like, how fast are they headed?
Faster than us. We're going to need to pick it up a little bit.
Okay.
Or at least you guys are.
Permission to be pedantic just for a moment?
Sure.
We
Always,
moment.
you always have permission for pedantry.
we
Come on.
A moment.
we got these horses from
Sedgwick.
the garrison. Oh no, did we get them from Sedgwick? I
You
thought
guys
we
bought them.
we
in
got them
Notch.
from
Garrison.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got them from Notch. So I would have presumed these would be animals that would be
That's
used
right.
to conditions, right?
Yeah, but they're horses and there's snow that's like, probably 2.5, 3 feet deep. So, I mean, they're doing the best they can. It doesn't
They're
look
not
like it's
miracle
anything,
workers.
but they're still just a horse. You're getting them through heavy snow, so they're struggling a little.
Well, with my high animal husbandry, am I noticing any of the horses being in particular distress?
None of them seem particularly distressed. I mean, they're as tired as you would expect a horse to be after carrying your party for roughly 3 hours through heavy snow.
Mhm.
One thing it is sort of getting on towards nighttime.
Yikes! Oh well, we've got that tent of hidden holding or whatever it's called.
Leo and Liam's tiny hut.
Yeah, that's it.
Pentafolding.
Yep, you can hut if you need to.
Can
Apart
we-
from running out of food or something, like you guys are pretty sure you're not in any danger of dying because you do
Right.
have Slexy here, and also I think Biddy maybe knows tiny hut. Like you're not gonna die of exposure.
Yeah.
I don't actually know. I don't think.
And I can do create food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys aren't gonna starve to death or freeze to death. If like things get bad, you can make a tiny hut and go inside, and you have ways to make yourselves be warm. Like it's unpleasant because it's cold. You got your noses are running. You got a little snot in your beard if you have a beard. Tink, there's ice if sickles are starting to form on the edge of your shell.
Can the horses fit into the huts?
I mean, 4 of them could.
Can I cast augury as a ritual and ask whether it would be a good idea for us to proceed on right now without our horses?
If you want to stop, sure.
Do I have to stop to do it, or
I don't remember the specifics. Let's look at augury then. Let's just look it up because I don't remember. I know it takes like 10 minutes to cast. I don't know if you can cast it.
Yeah, if you do it as a ritual, it takes 10 minutes. But can I just sit on my broom while I do it or something? I mean,
let's look. I
You're like
I genuinely
throwing
don't know.
bones,
I need
right?
to read the spell description.
Has your broom got like a bucket seat on it that you can just relax back into?
No, it's like a Harry Potter broom.
yeah, it's very fun. But no, I could like
Augury's like
yeah, I just-
throwing the bones, right?
Yeah, but my augury is the tax code. I do
Oh,
Biblian
that's true.
fancy with it, so I just need to open up the.
Yeah,
tax
given
code.
your particular, you could. Well, not while you're up 75 feet in the sky. You're not going to be able to do that. It'll be it's too wibbly wobbly for you to get an accurate poke down at the tax code kind of thing.
Swoop down low and do it.
Yeah, you could
Basically.
land and do it. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to hold anybody up while I
So
do it.
your broom is actually
I can catch up. Yeah.
yeah, it's faster than the horses. So if you want to stop and cast it as a ritual, you can just stop, take a minute, do your ritual, and then catch up on the broom. Like
Okay.
you can see all around you. You're pretty sure nothing is sneaking up on you because as far as you can see in every direction now, it's just white.
Yeah.
White out.
Okay, so Biddy
So I just
lands
wanna
and he's like,
figure
"Hey,
out-
I'm gonna cast a quick ritual. You guys keep up." Jake's like, "That's fine. Catch up. That broom's pretty quick."
Okay. So my question is, should we abandon our horses right now?
So you wave your finger over the Dragonmyrth tax code, and you poke down, and the finger the word your finger lands on is negative.
Alrighty. Well, that answers that. I'll catch back up with everybody and suggest that we continue on with the horses for the time being.
Okay, so you guys ride for about another hour and a half. Jake the whole time is actually periodically he walks over and starts rubbing the horse's feet. He makes like you stop and he rubs your horse's feet, and then your horse seems to be somehow invigorated by that afterwards. Jake has got some kind of oil that he appears to be applying to the horse's feet. And your pace after he starts putting the oil on the horses, like your pace increases, and you guys you're making much better time now.
Hey, what is that stuff, Jake?
What, this? I don't know. Cedric gave it to me. He called it shoe shine. I don't know.
Shinola.
No, it ain't called. I mean, it just here. He hands you the bottle, and on the but he hands you a bottle, and there's some kind of like salve inside of it, and on the outside of it, it says SedgewickCo brand Sedgwick Basics Shoe Shine is what it says. SedgewickCo Basics Shoe Shine.
Can I roll an investigation check to like see if I can tell what's in it?
Would actually be probably a profession check. This would be Arcana.
Arcana? Alright, that's not really my specialty, but I'll look at the bottle.
You can still roll. It's fine.
I can roll it. 17?
It appears so when you like dip your finger in it and taste a little on your tongue, it tastes sparkly a little bit.
It tastes sparkly.
So it seems to
Okay.
be some manner of it's some kind of magic salve.
And then your character doesn't shut up for the next hour.
And now my tongue is a lot faster.
Your tongue is actually kind of tingly and warm. It's nice. Like when you put it on there, it feels nice. Your tongue feels shiny.
I'm gonna ask Jake, do you mind if I hold on to this?
No, I'm gonna need it. The horses are gonna. I mean, we're gonna have to. If you guys want to maintain this pace, we're gonna have to use the shoe. We're gonna have to keep shining these horses.
I think it's better used on the horses than as a lubricant for one of your little dalliances.
I mean, if
Well,
you want
no,
more when we get back, you can. I mean, there's almost a whole. I mean, there's a whole subterranean chamber filled with this basics junk. I don't know what it's all about, but I'm sure
Yeah, let's
Sedgwick will
put
give you
it
as
up.
much as you want.
Let's put me down for a case of this.
Okay. Just
We
remind
could-
me when we get back, because I ain't gonna remember. So,
We could put a little into my soon-to-be patented Tupperware containers that I.
hey, Biddy, can you
fashion.
make a perception check for me?
You bet. Also, while I'm doing that, can I ask, are we being slowed down by the snow levels, or is that we're just
Ever
moving
since
it?
Jake started putting the shoe shine on the horses, the answer they seem to be going about as fast as a horse could be reasonably expected to go.
Okay. My perception was 10, unfortunately.
Okay. So you guys ride for about another 20 minutes, and after that, Jake says, "Oh, hold on a second," and he like puts his hand up and does the everybody stop commando gesture. And he's like, "Hey, you come with me," and he points at Colonel. It's like, "Hop off your horse and come with me. You seem sneaky. Let's come up here." There's a little bit of a ridge. You guys have come up to a little bit of a ridge. Biddy, you notice down below everybody seems to have stopped.
I
I'm
will
gonna-
stop as well. And I'll actually come down closer to see what's going on.
Okay, so Biddy, you start to circle down to make your landing. Colonel, you and Jake do like a belly crawl up to the top of this ridge and peek over. And
Okay.
off in the distance, you see what appears to be some manner of party. There are four very, very, or is it four? Hold on, I gotta look at my notes 1 second. I don't recall how many it is.
DM scribbles.
I presume you mean party of people rather than a rave.
I think it's 3. There are
Maybe both.
3 very, very large figures. Make a nature check for me.
Okay. Ooh, 17 again.
They look like giants to you. You're pretty sure they may be stone giants, but
Okay.
they don't look. They look a little off. Something about them ain't totally right, but you would guess it's a stone giant. There also
Okay.
appears to be some smaller figures that are circling around them, but they're quite a little bit too far away for you to make out. And then two of the big guys are carrying something in between them. It looks like some kind of litter or sledge or something. And then there's another guy who has bags thrown over his shoulder. One of the other big guys has a sack over his shoulder.
Can you don't have any kind of sense of which one might be carrying our friend here?
Oh, Jake goes, oh, it's the one with the bag. I guarantee
It's
the
the bag.
robot's in the sack, yeah. That's
Do you have any
that
idea
thing
what's
in the
gonna be
middle. I don't know what's in it, but two of them are carrying a palanquin. Looks like, what do we got? He squints for a minute. They're starting to get over the hill. He squints a little bit. He's like, I see they got a Wraith. One of those guys is a Wraith. Looks like a couple whites. They're hard to make out because they're ghosts in the snow, but I think I spotted a couple specters, too. Specters, yeah, stone giant. I don't know what's in that palanquin, though. They're carrying, the two giants are carrying something.
Or someone.
Maybe, fuck, I don't know, man. I can't tell what's in it. It's got curtains.
Your tracking doesn't see through curtains.
I mean, I got good eyesight, but I can't. Don't have X-ray vision. What am I, Superman? Come on, it's not even the right universe.
So I'm gonna point out to Jake. Something seems off about a couple of those giants.
Oh, they're undead. Yeah, they're definitely zombies of some variety.
Great, awesome.
Good
That
eyes.
was my.
I'm surprised you spotted that. I mean, most people don't even know what a stone giant is. So what do you guys want to do? Because it looks like some of them are stopping and turning around.
Did they see us?
You...
Well, I mean, you guys are up ahead. I wouldn't be able to.
Well, you're not. You can talk because they're still probably like 2 or 3 miles away. Like you came up on the crest of a little bit of a hill, and they are actually about to go over the crest of another hill that's pretty far away. Biddy didn't notice them, but now that you've stopped, Biddy, you're looking around. You see that party off in the distance as well.
So they haven't stopped for the night. They're continuing to move.
Well, the 3 big ones are. I mean, they're skirmishing. Obviously, if you take a look, like they're gonna try and fight us. They spotted. I think they may have spotted your friend. He points up in the air.
Gotcha. Well, let's fall back to the party and tell them what's approaching.
Just
then
yell at them. Hey, they're getting ready to attack. He yells.
Great. Okay. Well,
I don't think we're gonna sneak up on them. They already know we're here. So.
All right. So if we can deal with the ones that are turning back,
you guys tell me. How do you want to do it? I mean, it's just a Wraith and some whites and a Spectre. I mean, I ain't. Wait. I don't know. Is that a problem for you guys?
I don't know.
It might be.
You know, I've never tangled with a Wraith as such, and
so
you know, the last time we had the giants, the big guys. We mostly distracted them and ran like hell, despite my my tortoise friends' insistence on certain acts of copulation.
Well, Jake scratches his head a little bit. He's like, "Well, I mean, like I could probably take them by myself if I have to, but that's gonna take a while, and they're gonna get away. So, Tink, I want you and Slexy to make a religion roll, and Slexy, you actually have advantage on this. This is your god's bit.
Religion?
Yeah.
with advantage. You rolled a 2.
15 in total.
Okay, what'd you get, Slex? A 22?
22.
Okay.
Oh, 22. Okay.
So, Tink, both you and Slexy know that's those are some pretty tough undead. Like, a Wraith is powerful. Whites are not quite as, I mean, they're not Wraith level powerful, but they're dangerous, and those are dangerous undead. You guys didn't, Jake said something about specters, but you guys don't even see specters.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Wraith can, can't it, get you to 0 hit points right away?
You had a 22? No, they can't do that, but they do have some, they're incorporeal, they don't fight well in the daytime. They do have some life-draining attacks. If you are killed by a specter, you become, or if you are killed by a Wraith, you become a specter. So probably that's maybe where the specters came from. What you know about whites, they're mostly like people who used to be evil, sort of mercenaries, fighters and stuff previously. Usually they just stab you, but they also have a life-draining attack as well.
Also a very apt description of white civilization.
So they're pretty tough. It's not anything that's way out of your league, but also, that they present a danger to you.
Yeah. Okay.
So Jake's like, what do you guys want to do? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we should just rush them because we want to try and keep pace as quick as possible. I say we just ride up.
Yeah,
and
we want to keep up.
Yeah, I mean, is there any advantage to us trying to, now that they're splitting off, to try to sneak around and catch up to the ones?
Well, they know we're here.
Yeah,
they're coming this way, so Like, we maybe could try and wait here and set up some sort of ambush, but, I mean, he motions, gestures to look around us. There ain't fucking anywhere to hide. It's just snow.
No, I meant to even, like, run up ahead and try to bypass the Wraiths, but that's probably not possible. Yeah, let's just attack. Probably.
I don't, well, like, so you ain't outrunning a Wraith, or at least you guys aren't,
Yeah,
he
they're
says.
faster than we are.
Yeah.
He says, you guys ain't outrunning a Wraith. I mean...
Right.
And then
So
he
what do you
looks
say?
down. He
You
looks
look
down
at
at
Wraith.
his shoes and sort of shuffles his feet a little bit. He's like, "Well, you guys aren't outrunning a Wraith."
Ah.
So what's Jake? You got any advice
I'm
for
as
us?
fast as I can be.
What's my
What's
advice? I don't know. Beat him with clubs, stab him,
Attack.
shoot him, burn him with fire. Standard stuff.
Anything in particular, or you just beat them up and you're
How
good?
far are they from us right now?
He turns and looks over his shoulders, like, I don't know. Looks like about 2.5 miles to me. He raises his hand and gives him the finger.
Yeah, let's rush him.
So what do I know about these? I don't know. So for the Wraith, probably don't hit it with elemental damage because they don't really give a shit about that. You're gonna want to try and use radiant damage if you got it. Necrotic and poison, they're just immune to that shit because they're undead, so none of that crap. The whites, normal stuff works on them, just no poison because again they're undead. So the Wraith Inspectors though, like all your elemental shit, you're gonna probably want to skip all that. Try and do like force damage or whatnot. He's like, you're a wizard, but magic missile, get him with the force damage or something.
You
got tools.
Is there any kind of illusion that those whites could be drawn to that could let us focus on?
I mean, you might.
I think we learned.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's only one white. He says. And he's like, the specters there's only one Wraith. The specters aren't smart enough to really care about an illusion. You might be able to trick the whites, but I don't know. They're generally hostile to pretty much everything. I don't know what you would use an illusion to fool. They're just gonna want to kill whatever you put in front of them anyway. It might slow them down, I guess. He kind of shrugs a little. The whites and the Wraiths you might be able to trick, but the specters you ain't gonna trick at all. They're too fucking dumb.
All right, let's.
I
guess we can
I'm
just
gonna
keep
use
moving
these,
forward.
and he grabs 2 daggers off of his belt and spins them around like a gunslinger in his hands, flips them a little bit. I'm gonna use these, and he does some gentle stabbing motions and then resheathes his weapons. Like I said, stabbing them works fine. Y'all got magic weapons, right?
Yes.
Get him.
Should be, yeah. I mean, good old-fashioned magic sword, ain't nothing beats that.
I'm gonna ready up mirror image for when we get close enough that we're about to engage and all, so I can mirror image myself right before combat.
Okay, so you guys just mount back. Do you want to be mounted when you arrive, or do you guys want to fight on foot? How do you want to do this?
Giggity.
Jake is still, he's like, the horses, and, he just shrugs.
I would like the horses to stay alive. So
Yeah, they should maybe.
if we want to catch up to these guys after this fight.
All
we
right,
want our
then.
horses
Hey,
alive.
you! And he points to Biddy. He's like, give me that broom of yours.
All right.
So you toss him your broom, and he takes the horses and ties all of their leads to the broom. And then he goes over to the broom. He's like, all right, I want you in 25 minutes to bring these horses up here to where we're gonna be. He gives instructions to the broom.
Sounds good.
I'm
Do
not
I,
in the
do I
broom
know? Do I
body.
know if that does anything, or am I just looking at him like he's kind of out of his mind a little?
Well, it seems a little insane to you to talk to a broom, but then actually he pulls a little device out of his belt after he finishes his little speech and clips it to the front of the front of the broom, and a little red light starts blinking on the front.
Huh.
It's actually already.
And a voice comes out.
Willy Wonka.
A voice comes out of that and says, "Hi, my name is Alexis. How can I help you?" And he's like, "Do what I just told you, goddamn stupid thing." And then it goes, "Yes, sir, Jake. We will comply. 25-minute timer beginning now."
Timer added to your grocery.
Okay. I hate this.
Barditas shrugs and
Don't take that off. He points at Biddy. Don't take that off yet. Let's just say all the bugs ain't quite been worked out of Alexis yet. There's a reason she ain't distributed for wide consumption. She's got some issues. And Alexis' voice says, "I do not. That's very rude of you." He just
get in
scowls.
between all this.
He scowls at the broom. Anyway, you guys ready? Let's go beat the shit out of some undead.
Oh.
Oh, so
Yeah, let's do it.
Any other preparations then before we get things started?
Does anyone want to me before we get into the fight?
I can throw out 3 Bardic Inspirations for people.
Doesn't. Well, it's gonna be. You don't want to do anything that's gonna be combat oriented yet, because all of it's gonna wear off before you get there. I mean, they're like 2 miles away, so you got a couple minutes still of moving.
It's gonna take us 10 minutes.
Yeah. We could haste you right before combat, but honestly, I think I'd rather maybe save the haste for the next combat that's presumably coming right up afterwards. So, I don't know. What do y'all think? I'm happy to throw a haste on you if you want it, but I don't know if we need it.
I would wait. So let's go ahead. Unless you have something that has durations in hours, I would. If you're planning on casting anything that has a duration of less than 10 minutes, don't, because it's going to be more than 10 minutes before the fight starts.
No, okay. I am going to ready mirror image though for when the fight begins, or right before the fight begins, if I can do it that way.
All right, so let me get stuff's going to happen here. So let's do. If you're looking at the stream, you see the very clever pun I named this map.
What is this called?
The name of the save file. This is Snow White, but it's WIGHT because you're fighting whites.
That was a 10 out of 10 pun.
Let me get some dice here. So everybody grab some dice. You guys are going to be over here. I'm going to hold on a second. I'm going to move these. Get those out of the way. You guys are going to be coming in from over here. So put yourself in, let me make a box for you. Put yourself anywhere inside that box, and probably it should be not white because you can't really see that. So maybe make it red. You guys can be anywhere inside that box to begin.
Screw it. I couldn't handle that load. I'll try and rejoin.
Oh, did that point you, Tink?
Yeah.
See if you can hop back in. If not, we can drive through the stream. You can pull the stream up, and we'll drive you that way.
Yep, that worked. Fair enough. Would I be able to, just so that I have a feel that I've got a sense of my own destiny? Do I have permission to use my own dice?
Oh, you mean for him rolling?
I'm ambivalent. I don't really care. We can roll for you. You can roll locally. It doesn't matter. Honestly, ideally, just reconnect. So.
Yeah, ideally. This was the problem last time, though. Oh yeah, no, there we go. It's the loading. It's 89.
The last little bit will take a minute.
Your ping's now 600.
Well, that's what I was seeing everyone else's before when it was all sort of crapping out for me.
No,
the one in the middle is a Wraith. The other two are whites.
Oh, nope, there you go. Yep, Tink crash. Give it another whirl, and then we'll put you where we get you.
Yeah, I'll restart it all together.
So is everybody where they want to be? We also need a Jake. Did I not make? Oh, I have a Jake.
I'm going to be hiding behind Marty for safety.
Here's a Jake. They'll be up front. We'll give
looks
Tink
like
on the connection.
Our Jake looks like the guy from Ninja Gaiden from like the 10,000 foot view.
He's actually a model from WoW. I think I think that model came out of a WoW pack.
So let me actually zoom in. Yeah, it's kind of got that art style, so that makes sense.
Man, I can't believe people still play World of Warcraft.
Any connection there, I think?
I'm just restarting Steam, actually. See if that helps.
Damn you, Gabe Newell!
It's laptops. Tabletop Simulator and laptops do not play well together.
I don't think Tink's on the laptop.
He is.
He is.
Oh, he is?
Yes, he still hasn't got around to sorting out the C drive collapsed on my
Tink's other rig is down.
It's weird that it has a problem with laptops, but it does.
It's something about the chipset for some of the graphic stuff is not fully fleshed out, because Tabletop Simulator is mostly just a big hodgepodge of various and sundry player-created shit, and not all of it plays well with every kind of possible encoding. So,
and this thing's from about 2016 as well. So
some of the chipsets that are on video cards for laptops specifically just don't get along well with tabletop simulator.
They don't like certain instruction sets.
It's like model sets, I think, particular models and stuff that you have in there. But some of the ones are like, some of them are like, these dice will break it. So, although I don't think this is the dice, because otherwise the previous map would not have loaded. Anyway, you guys are setting up. So, since this is a prepared fight, if you want to cast a spell before the first round of combat, just decide just tell me what spell effect you have active, and we'll account accordingly. And also, everybody should roll initiative too.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm gonna
Roll for initiative.
Have mirror image up.
Who wants to get blood? Who wants a bardic inspiration?
I'll take one.
Yeah, Tink, it doesn't look like it's gonna work.
Does that come with my choice of side?
God damn.
My initiative.
Do we have enough time that I can throw out all 3 bardic inspirations?
No, I'm gonna give you 1 round before things. You got 1 round.
Okay.
Because Jake is not gonna wait to engage for you guys to sit and buff for 20 minutes, and the bad guys aren't gonna sit and let you buff for 20 minutes either.
Well, we got a ways of distance between us, so you can always just buff.
Some of these things are very fast.
Okay, Marty, you
Nah,
have blood.
that's a busted flush.
You got a D4.
Hold on a second. I'm still typing because there's lots of bad guys. Okay, Tink, what'd you get? For initiative?
Starting out strong with the local rolling of 4.
Okay, Tink got a 4. Biddy, what'd you get?
Only 10. One of my worst initiative rolls.
Oh, I gotta roll for Jake. Hold on a second. Jake got a 20. Colonel?
I got 21.
Silk?
8.
Slexy?
10.
Slexy got 10. Alright, I gotta make some more rolls here. See.
I have a +1 to Dex. What do you have, Biddy?
What's that?
What's your Dex?
Oh, my dex is +3.
Okay.
Biddy's
So you
first.
go before me.
Yep. Alright, so I'm just gonna sign these in order. So you got a...
So did Jake explain to us that all of these enemies are resistant to fire damage or elemental damage? In general?
Yeah, well, not all of them. The Wraiths and the Whites are... the Wraith and the Spectres are resistant to elemental damage. Necrotic and Poison are probably bad ideas for all of these guys.
Cool. Well,
And being undead and all that.
much damage to begin with, but one of my few damage spells is Firebolt right now, so I just wanted to make sure I knew what I should target if I do it.
Me and Tink can focus on the resistant guys.
No, I almost always just incapacitate people anyway. I usually don't try to do damage. Just thought I would know, so just in case it comes up.
And 8. Okay, initiative is sorted, so let me get these in order. Maybe sort them in reverse order, Pete, as opposed to being dumb and sorting them the opposite way they need to be. There we go. All right. So, you guys come up on the scene. So, Biddy, you have a mirror image active.
Yeah.
And you gave a Bardic Inspiration dice, Silk, to whom?
Marty.
To Marty. Okay. All right. So you guys come up and Jake goes, "It's on!" Drags his daggers out. These undead clearly are waiting for you. Once they saw you guys coming toward them, they actually stopped advancing and made you come to them. So clearly they're just sitting here waiting for you. You can tell their goal is to try and slow you down. That's why they stopped. And this guy is which one of you? This guy. And then he flies to there. And Colonel, you are up.
Was that one of the whites?
Yeah, that is a specter.
Okay. I'm going to. What's my move speed? 30.
Also, we can get rid of this. It's just confusing now. So this guy is just a floating wisp of nothing. He's actually very hard to see because he's basically just like a white shape against white background. He's a ghost in the snow, like a My Chemical Romance song.
Okay, I want to start with doing an insight check on him, see if I can get some insightful fighting going.
You got it.
Plus insight.
He got a 5.
I got a 6 plus 8, so.
You are insightfully fighting him.
Great. I'm going to move up. All kind of packed in here. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Don't want to dash, I guess.
Well, you already used your bonus action, so.
Oh, that's true for the inside, so I'm just waiting.
You want to dodge? You have your regular action. I mean, if you wanted to use your regular action to move, you can do that, or alternatively, you could just dodge.
I'll dodge.
Okay. The whites, rather the, the whites. These guys do have bows, so.
Okay.
They have long bows. All right, so that's it for you. Jake's turn. He's going to run to here, and he is going to proceed to stab the shit out of this man. So when Jake runs up, his hands are empty. And he appears to be stabbing this guy, but you don't see a weapon in his hand at all.
Hmm.
Let's see. Vectors are easy to hit. Okay. So trying to think of how this works in this edition's rules. This would only get this once. Oh right, it's also no, he used Kukri. I need another. Man, I don't have enough D6s. I forgot how Jake worked. He was so broken. There we go. Well, you rolled good.
Wow, it's a lot of 6s.
So you never saw a knife in his hand. He actually stabs this man, and it is, he kills him. It is instantly slain.
Oh. Well, alright then. It's like I'm gonna have to keep up with this guy.
And it is the Wraith. Alright, let's see. What are you gonna do? Not that. Okay. So the Wraith is actually going to fly to here and simply wait. So the Wraith advances and dodges. And this is your turn. I'll move to there, and he is going to shoot at Jake with a longbow. Those both miss. Vector 3 flies to here and dodges. After seeing what Jake did to their friend, these guys seem a little more cautious. So these are going to fly to here. This one is also going to dodge. It's to here. He is going to also... This white is also going to fire a longbow at Jake. He also whiffs twice. And now it is Biddy's turn.
Alrighty. I probably just move and dash. I mean, just go to there. Seems relatively safe.
Anything else?
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't
Okay.
see a reason to do anything else.
So, just to let you know, because Jake would have been specific, these enemies are resistant to elemental damage, not immune.
Right.
So if you wanted to sling some fireballs or spells I mean, they're resistant to it, but not immune. Yeah. Just don't do necrotic or poison stuff.
Necrotic, I think they're immune.
Yeah, they are immune. Yeah, they're immune to. He tells you they're immune to necrotic damage and poison. So the rest of the stuff, they've got some resistance to it, but yeah.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think it's still out of. Maybe that guy in the corner I could barely fireball. I think he's out of range.
Isn't it 120 feet?
It's 120 feet, but it's like almost exactly 120. It seems like. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I use dash, so I'm.
Yeah, it's 37. Like that's in inches. I don't give a shit about inches.
Yeah. No, well, anyway, I don't have an extra attack right now. Anyway,
oh, he's in range.
I know, but I dash, so I can't.
Okay, all right. So Biddy's done. Slexy, you're up.
I will run forward, I guess.
Okay, move forward 60.
Can't run away from your issues forever.
Just a second.
Oh, hey, France had an
There's a
election.
way of doing this. Did they? Oh, good.
Yes. Marie Le Pen's party failed to win any of the provinces.
60. That would be
12 squares. So the angles on that are not totally correct. It's going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. You get 5 more feet of movement, actually. There you go. Anything else?
No, that's all I'm going to do for now.
All right, you're up, Soap.
All right. So let's see here. My major image, I can throw 120 feet. So
again, Jay, you got the impression from Jake that that's not going to be super useful.
Well, I still want to get to within 120 feet so I can throw an Eldritch Blast then.
Okay.
So let's see here.
From the breakdown you got from Jake, like the Wraith and the Whites might be fooled by the illusion, but the Spectres aren't going to care. They're too dumb.
So 5, 15, 20, 30, 5. There we go. And let's see here. Is anyone within 120 feet?
Yeah, I think those two guys.
Probably these two Spectres are, yeah. Let's pocket real quick. That guy is. Actually, you could also. Actually, both Spectres, these two front Spectres and the Wraith are all within 120.
Let me throw that at the Wraith.
Doing an Eldritch Blast?
Yep, throw a couple of bolts at him.
Roll the hit, but you have disadvantage because he dodged.
Okay, so a 13. I get my spell attack bonus.
Yep.
So that's a 20.
Okay, 20 hits.
Okay, so one bolt hits him, and then 23. So he also
hit. Yep. Roll damage.
All right, so these are my D10s.
And Eldritch Blast is force damage, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Takes 13.
Got it. Let me hold on a minute. Got to do some quick math. Got this many.
I just hope he doesn't have like 2,000 hit points.
Okay. Anything else?
There's nothing else I can really do.
Okay.
I guess I
mean, you still have a bonus action.
Bardic,
yeah.
I'm gonna throw a Bardic Inspiration to our friend up here.
To Jake.
Yeah.
Let's Jake doesn't really seem like he needs it.
Okay, let's throw it to Slexy then.
He looks quite inspired.
Okay. Then I'm gonna inspire Slexy too.
Okay. So this guy is going to move to here, and he is going to dodge. Tink, what do you want to do here? You are bringing up the rear.
gonna try and keep up with my colleagues.
So do you just want to move at a regular move? You could be right here with a regular move and still have an action.
No, I'll dash and get up to where. Oh, can I cast Spirit Guardians and still dash?
No.
No,
Casting a spell in almost all circumstances takes your action. Also, Spirit Guardians isn't going to be super useful here because there's nothing near you. Like, it only hits stuff that's around you within 15 feet.
And it's concentration, so you don't like. That's the reason I haven't cast anything yet. Is I don't want it to go away if I get hit by a bow.
None of these guys is hurt, but you could toll the dead one, although that does necrotic damage, so probably not super effective.
Do that.
You do have some radiant damage stuff if you get closer, which is
I have.
quite
Yeah.
good.
So let's dash. We're gonna move up.
Okay.
To keep up with the front two.
All right. So you're gonna keep pace with Slexi and Jake.
Please.
All right. Anything else you want to do?
That's it.
Okay. All right. So Spectre 2 is actually already dead. Let's just get rid of him. Colonel, you're up.
I want to run and stab
Why did you sing that?
because it makes me so happy.
Because Martinique
style
has
points.
fucking style, PJ. That's why.
This is what Marty does.
It's called
Marty is trying
panache.
to.
Yeah, but I just wish
Marty
the
is trying to have so much like charm and charisma that Barnatos can't help but swoon. It's
I
all part
wasn't
of the
criticizing
long
it.
con.
It just sounded like that could be a line from like a Batman musical.
Not gonna work.
I just wish the singing was left to the bard.
It's called panache, PJ. It's not something you
I
know
wasn't
about.
criticizing it. All I was saying is that's like a line from like a Batman musical.
Why would you sing as you fight?
I want to run and stab.
Why wouldn't you?
Why isn't that cool?
Don't stop the stabbing.
How much more humiliating would it be if you got your ass kicked by a guy who was singing in like show tune style chanting about how badly he was kicking your ass while he kicked your ass?
I don't know if I did that right, but I think I can double dash all the way up here.
Yeah, so are you double moving, or are you just going to take a basic move, use your rogue bonus action to dash, and then dodge or something?
Yes, the second one.
Okay.
My cunning action.
Well, you don't actually have to dodge. You could, I mean, you've got a short bow, you could shoot at a guy, or if you have some other action you want to do, but your action could also just be to dodge.
I'm gonna dodge.
Okay, dodging is useful. Got it. All right, so the Colonel moves up and dodges. Jake is going to, actually, even he may not be able to get there in a single move. He is one short. Okay, so Jake is going to advance to here, and then he's going to throw a knife at this dude. Again, you never actually see... It doesn't look like he ever draws his daggers. That's one hit. So he's going to throw a knife into the neck of that white. Got it. More than that. Okay, so that is this guy. That minus. Okay, so Jake runs forward, and he's wearing like a little half cape. He slings his cape out front of him, and then like the Blue Raja, sort of, he flips a knife out from under. One of his daggers flips out from under the cape and stabs this dude in what would have been his neck, but isn't. So just like a knife comes out and sticks in his spinal cord and just is sticking there. If it was a person, he would have stuck it in their throat, but it's an undead skeleton, so there's just a knife sticking out of where his neck would be. And it is the Wraith's turn. So the Wraith moans something. None of you are going to understand this language. So it moans. And then it moves over here. And it is going to dodge. This white says, "Yes, master." And it falls back over here. And it is going to take some shots at the Colonel with its longbow. What's your AC, Colonel?
My AC is 21.
Never mind, those both missed. And then this Spectre.
Yeah, 21 AC with dodging.
Oh, yeah.
This Spectre is going to step up, and it comes forward and gropes with its arms at Jake.
Bad touch.
No touching.
No inconsensual groping.
You do not. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta get notarized consent forms, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. So he
Big on
comes
consent.
forward and motions at Jake, and Jake just does like a backflip, and the attack just this thing comes up to grope at him, and Jake just flips out of the way, like that. Whatever. Do better. And then it is this white. It's going to go. So the white that got stabbed in the neck is going to fall back, and he is also going to try and fire some arrows at the Colonel. You're a 21, Colonel?
Correct.
You have been hit. I rolled a 15 on the die. Would you like to use defensive fighting?
Yeah. Let's go ahead. I forgot how that works. So I had my proficiency bonus.
Yes. So I
That's
think that
plus
makes you a
3.
24, right?
Yeah, that's +3, so 24 total.
Okay, so you throw your shield up and just catch the arrow in your shield. Tonk.
Bing!
And Biddy, you are up.
All right. I will move here. I think that does that put me in firebolt range of the white back there? Because I think I.
Let's see.
You should probably
Yeah, you're
concentrate
well within.
fire
You're well
on
within range.
on something though.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I can't hit anything that's damaged within my range. I would shoot the other white, but I can't. I don't think I can make it over there. So
There's a spectre.
I mean,
next to
the
Colonel. The Wraith is in range.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Wraith got hit with Eldritch Blast,
Fire.
so
I could also throw up a hypnotic pattern and try to hypnotize the Wraith and two of these white. Or whatever they are.
Jake has given you a little information, and you know that's going to be a bad idea.
Yeah, I figured it would be, and I don't want to waste a third level slot. Yeah, I'm just going to shoot the white. I think that's probably my best bet here. I'm going to firebolt.
The
it.
Wraith's and Spectres are immune to charm.
Yeah,
You would've
I
told
figured
you
it
that.
wouldn't be a good idea. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to shoot the white. And unfortunately, that is a bad roll.
So this white back here?
Yeah, the one that I can hit. This guy right
Okay.
here, right? And unfortunately, I get a 11 to hit.
That's a miss.
Yeah, so that's a miss, and that's all I think I can do at this point, unfortunately. So I'll just hang back.
Slexy, you're up.
Can I make it to anyone?
10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You could hit this guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna come up here then. I think there's I'm just gonna hit him with my hammer.
Okay.
A tried and true move.
It's true.
It's D&D. Sometimes you smash stuff in the brain with a hammer. That's a good way to fight stuff. Hit it in the head.
12.
Against the Spectre? That hits.
Oh, nice.
These Spectres seem very, like, clumsy and kind of... I mean,
14.
They seem sort of dumb, honestly. So 14 bludgeoning.
I'm an idiot.
Is your weapon magic?
Just give me a second.
Okay.
I have a thing I wanted to do before I did that. I'm
That's
going
fine.
to Spirit Shroud, which is a bonus action.
Gotcha. Okay.
And they will do radiant damage. And then I'll do another d8.
Okay, so Slexy taps his hammer on the ground and his vicious and voracious moths spring into existence.
And I do 1 radiant damage on top of my 14 normal.
Got it. Okay, and that is your weapon is magic?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. I think it's a +1.
You tell
Plus
me.
one more
True.
hammer.
Is it a
If
plus
it's
one?
a +1, it's magic.
Yeah,
right?
it's a magic
+1.
weapon. Okay. So that was, I'm sorry, tell me again, because I'm dumb. 14 bludgeoning and
14,
1 radiant?
1 radiant.
Got it. Okay. So you walk up and smack that man right in the face. He looks inconvenienced. What is this one? Alright, so... Got it. Alright, anything else, Lex?
That's all.
Alright, Silk, you're up.
Yeah, so
This
I
thing
think
gives
I'm
out a
just
little...
Man,
when you hit
Adele
it.
really exploded onto the music scene.
PJ, come on.
So is there anywhere I can go to where I can get advantage to throw more Eldritch Blasts at
Nope.
our ghostly friend here?
This is just a big flat plane of snow.
Okay. Well, am I able to fire through Marty and?
Yeah. So when you're shooting into melee, your allies provide this guy with cover. So if you're going to shoot this guy with cover, he just is too harder to hit. That's it. It basically gives him a +2 to his AC. And Slexy hit him on a 12, so he ain't exactly super hard to hit.
He just has a lot of resistance against.
Yeah. Basically, you would need a 14 to hit him.
Okay. Well, then let's throw some. I'm gonna keep kind of moving forward.
Well, at worst, you would need a 14 to hit him. His AC actually could be lower than 12. It's just Slexy hit him on a 12, so he ain't hard to hit.
Okay. I'm just gonna kind of move.
That's fine.
Over here and then throw.
Okay.
Bolts.
So shooting at this little guy, or are you shooting further back?
No, I'm gonna shoot at the one up front.
You got it. Hog pile and damage is always the best idea. How do you fight in D&D? Hog pile.
Yep.
Well, that was spectacularly bad. I got a 14 off one bolt, and the other one is just an absolute nothing.
Did you get a 1?
Yeah.
Okay. So the nat 1 misses, but the 14 hits. Roll damage. And this is force damage, so... Eldritch Bolt's a D10, isn't it?
Oh, whoops. Okay, he takes 5. He takes 5 force.
You got it. All right. So you laser one into him, and he goes... And he starts to look somehow less corporeal. He's looking pretty rough. Like, he's starting to, like, shreds of ghostly ectoplasm are starting to sort of drift away from him after that hit. And anything else, Silk?
Where?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, so it is going to be this guy's turn. So this man is going to fly to here. And he's going to try and swipe at the Colonel. He missed. So that guy comes up and reaches out for you, Colonel. And you just, like, he's so slow that you just, like, dodge to the side like the Flash and watch his slow hand sort of paw past out of the air. You do that despite not being super speeded like the Flash. Just like your average reaction is just like, well, I'm just gonna... There you go.
Stand away from that.
And now it is Tink's turn.
Okie dokie. Is normal movement going to bring me into range of these suckers?
15, 20, 25, 30. Nope, you're going to be... Well, you can get to here. You could get to this square.
Yours is yellow
you
one.
You get to that one right there.
Yellow hand.
I'm white.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Hold the dead. Oh, no, it's necrotic.
Pete, the guy that I hit can't regain hit points until the start of my next turn.
Got it, because of Spirit Shroud, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can get to there on a regular move. His speed is reduced by 10 feet, right?
Yeah.
That's actually relevant for these guys because they're fast. So what do you want to do here, Tink?
Yeah, I'll move up as far as I can.
Okay.
In one move.
Got it.
So I guess that positions me just south of.
You are in this square. The stream will catch up in a minute. So.
Yep, I see where you put me, and just south of Slex. Actually, I think that's where I should
can't
go.
get there. This is literally as close as you can get. Unless you want to dash.
And Word of Radiance is only like...
It's every square around you, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 5 foot.
That's fine. You might just dodge, or you can... So, you can... These guys are not immune to... Well, never mind. They are immune to necrotic damage. Yeah, never mind. You can just dodge. I mean, you could...
Yep, fine. Let me just put myself into a dodge position.
Okay. Sometimes, you know, some of the enemies are a little... Sometimes the enemies are your hard counter. All right, so dodge. You could turn undead. That's one of the things if you want to try and make these guys run away.
You can also do that. What is it? Spirit Guardians you were talking about earlier. Would that
would not hit anything because they're all out of.
Yeah. Again, that's the sort of thing I it's like driving a tank into the middle of something and then buttoning it up and
You
everything.
can move all your spirit guardians too. You can chase stuff with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's not stationary. It's centered on you, so you can cast it and just run around and chase people. I wouldn't do it necessarily this turn, but next turn maybe.
It's 15 feet around you.
Yeah, 3 squares. But these guys are actually slightly more than both of those are more than 15 feet away. So take dodges, which is perfectly cromulent thing to do. Colonel, it's going to be back to you then.
Stabbing.
Make with the stabs. Who we stabbing?
Stabby, stabby, stab.
The guy right in front of me that just swung at me last round.
Okay. This guy looks pretty hurt. You could probably finish him off, and you could
that's
attack him
true.
with no ops or anything. But also, you only get 1 sneak attack around, so you could put your sneak attack into the guy who's least hurt. Maybe
This
stab the
is the
other
guy that I insightfully fought, though, so I don't think I get sneaks on
The
anyone.
insightful fighting guy is dead, actually.
Yeah, so...
Okay. Just stabbing this dude, then?
Yeah, I rolled a 2, though, so I don't think... Even though they're... Let's see, plus 9, 11?
Nope, that's a miss.
I thought so.
Okay, anything else?
9/11.
Sometimes you miss.
Yeah, I think that just might be it. Can he use a bonus action to dodge or no?
I don't think you have roll away or whatever the rogue equivalent that lets you do that is. I mean, I think there is a... I don't believe you have that yet, because I don't think you have enough rogue levels.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Actually, I don't think you'll ever get that, because you're only going to go like 5 levels of rogue.
Oh, it's after 5th level.
I want to say it's like... It's up there. It's one of the more elaborate maneuvers. I think it's like 14, maybe.
Oh, yeah. We're never going to get that.
Okay, that's fine. So it is Jake's turn. So he's just gonna... So Jake, once again, walks. He's just standing there with his empty hands, and then you see... So he just eviscerates this guy into a cloud of fucking ectoplasm. And then he dashes over here. Oh, actually, he may not be able to go quite that far. Nope. And then he dashes over to this Wraith. And he is done. So it is actually the Wraith's turn. So the Wraith comes over here. And you see Jake make a flip motion with his hand, but it passes right through the Wraith when he does it. Something happened there. Looks like he maybe took an opportunity attack, but it did not connect with the Wraith for some reason. And it is going to try and attack the Colonel. Looking at his bonuses. Got it. Okay. What's your AC, Colonel?
21.
21. That's a miss. So the Wraith reaches out one of its large, like, ghostly hands and swipes at you viciously, but you manage to get your rapier in the way and parry it.
Nice.
And it is now the White's turn. So that is... this one. So this White is going to go back up to here, and he is going to shoot at Slexy with his bow. Actually, yeah, he's going to shoot at Slexy. What's your ace? Nah, it doesn't matter. Slexy, both those missed. You're higher than a 14, right?
Yeah, I'm 22.
Okay. Oh, right, you have plate mail now. You're hard to hit. And then it is...
I can get it to 24 in a pinch.
This guy is dead. It is now... Okay, so this Wraith with the last ounce of its strength is going to paw at Slexy. Well, but hold on, it's too many dice.
No touch.
So it paws and gropes at you ineffectually. And this way.
I like the sound of
Over
that.
here, and he's going to fire at Jake. That is a miss. So he fires at Jake, and at the last second, Jake actually snaps one of his daggers out and cuts the arrow in half, and then resheathes it.
Ooh.
And both halves of the arrow like fly around his head. And Biddy, you're up.
Okay. I'm going to momentary stasis, or try to momentary stasis the Wraith.
I believe I have to
So
make a save. What's the DC on that?
It makes a Constitution save. My DC is 17, I believe.
Constitution save, DC 17. Got it. He fails. So this guy gets shifted and is now stuck in the Phantom Zone for a turn?
Well, it makes it incapacitated, and it's not banishment, but it's my ability to incapacitate.
Yeah, he's time shifted, right? So he's just incapacitated?
He's like frozen in time. Incapacitated with the movement speed of 0.
Right, okay, so he's incapacitated.
Until the end of my next turn, I think. Hold on a
second, let me look up something real quick.
And if he takes damage, then
it breaks him out, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me pull up the condition. I can never remember what page condition. I don't remember if he gets actions. Let me look specifically. Okay. All right. So Biddy shifts that guy out of existence, and it is anything else, Biddy?
I'll up a little bit here too. Just get next to Tink, my buddy. Okay. Say hello.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Slexi, you're
up. Smack the guy in front of me.
Womp away.
Womp womp.
Womp womp.
A 1.
All right, well, nat 1 always misses. So Slexi takes a poke and comes up empty. Anything else, Slex?
No, that's it.
All right, Silk, you're up.
If I bust our temporarily disabled Wraith out by firing at him, does that undo the?
So sort of. If you don't shoot at him, he'll skip his turn. But since you're before him, if you shoot at him now and bust him out, he would actually still get a turn because he would be unincapacitated before. So.
Okay. Well, then
you shouldn't shoot at him unless you shoot. You should shoot at everything else first because he'll get a turn that he wouldn't otherwise get.
Yeah. Currently, he's going to get skipped. His next turn is to do nothing, and if you shoot him, he'll actually get to do something on that turn instead of nothing.
The purpose of my ability, basically.
Okay. Well, then I'm just gonna move to here.
Okay.
And take a poke and throw some Eldritch Blast at this guy too.
Fire away. Give him the old Chris Stapleton. Fire away. Wow, that was somewhere Chris Stapleton just got a death shiver.
Okay. So,
I do not fucking sound like that. Come on. That's a good song.
A 23 and a 9.
The 23 hits, the 9 misses.
Very well. And he takes 10 force.
Okay, so you throw an Eldritch Bolt into what's left of his ragged tatters of ectoplasm, and he just fucking evaporates into nothing. He evaporates like a fog or like a mist on a foggy morning when the sun rises. Anything else?
Since I can't dodge, I'm done.
Okay. It is the turn of the guy you just killed. So he is done. And Colonel, back to you.
Okay, I want to hit this guy on the left.
The Wraith?
Yeesh.
He's currently stasis, so he's getting he's getting skipped.
Hit the other one, yeah.
Maybe I'll finish off.
Have I missed a turn?
Stab
if we've gone back.
You did not miss it. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, Tink. Yes, I skipped you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I deleted the dead Wraith out of the initiative order, and then I skipped right over. That's my bad. I'm sorry. It is your turn.
Thank you.
If I ever skip you, yell at me, because I don't do it intentionally. Yeah, just yell at me if I skip you.
I'm not drunk enough to yell at you. So,
let's fix that problem first.
Yeah, it seems like you have bigger problems than getting skipped if you're not drunk enough to yell at me.
So, could you please outline where our enemies are?
So there's a bad guy here. There's a bad guy here, although you probably don't want to hit that dude necessarily. And then there's these two whites who seem to be sort of engaging in like a running gun battle. They appear to be very afraid of getting next to Jake for good reason.
Oh, I see the angle, and I didn't see those two dudes.
So these two guys are sort of like spreading apart from each other to try, and then they're just like raining shots in at you as they slowly circle.
So, as I can make out, there are two enemies in front of Slex and Martinique.
Correct. And if
Okay.
you were to stand,
then-
say, in this square, you could hit both of them with a Word of Radiance, so that would break Biddy's spell. You could also move to this square and just hit that guy with a Word of Radiance, or you could smash him with the hammer. You have options.
Which of the two were was affected by
So this,
Tiberius' spell?
let me spin the camera a little bit. This man right here. We can zoom in a little too. This will make it easier to see on stream. So this Wraith here is the one that has currently been time hopped. But you could stand in this square and Word of Radiance and hit this guy. You have options.
Word of Radiance doesn't that affect multiple characters, or do I
It
get
hits
to choose?
everything around you, but I believe it only hits enemies.
If you position yourself right, you can only hit.
For instance,
the
you
one.
could just stand in this square and then use Word of Radiance.
Probably correct. Or I don't know if you're.
It only hits this guy then.
Let's do that. Let's
okay.
yeah.
So that's a dex save, if I'm remembering correctly. Tink is confounded because he has no idea what his spells do.
Doesn't actually say on my.
Word of
Oh, I'm
Radiance,
looking
I
at
have it, too.
spiritual weapons. Sorry.
Word of Radiance, I believe, is a dex save.
Con
It's a
14.
Constitution save. Yep, con save.
Use the Constitution.
He failed, so go ahead and roll damage, Tink. It is 2d6 radiant.
7 in total.
Got it. Alright, so you come up and blast out a holy pile of light that comes out and hits this man.
My cabbages.
He seems to a good
My
portion
cabbages?
a good portion of him seems to
that's fine.
evaporate. A good portion of him seems to evaporate with the holy radiance that comes out of you. Anything else you want to do, Tink? Or are you done?
That's it.
Okay, Tink's finished. Colonel, now it's your turn.
All right. Now we make with the stabbing. I'm gonna
Okay.
stab the guy on the right.
Stabbing
Or
this
no,
guy.
okay, yeah. Yes.
Okay, working the wounded guy.
Swinging it and hopefully rolling better than a 2. That's better than a 2. That's 19
That's it.
total. Oh my gosh, this is the first damage I've done all day.
And you actually can apply your sneak attack damage now too, because Tink is flanking that man, or rather threatening him. So you may sneak attack while he is threatened.
I love it. 1d8 plus 2d6 plus 6 is 8 plus 6 is 14.
Yep.
14 damage.
Okay. All right, so you skewer him real good, and he is so like he was transparent before, but now he's basically just a wisp of ectoplasm and claws is all that remains of him, but he is still on his feet. Jake is gonna go pursue this man, so he actually comes up here and starts doing his dagger thing.
Get him, Jake.
Oh, one of those missed.
Do you have haste as well, Barditas?
No.
Can bards get haste? You should.
It is not on the bard list, no.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought they could.
I mean, like, I could get one stored in my ring at some point if I.
That's a good idea.
Actually, I think haste is on the bard list.
Yeah, I thought it was because bards are so support oriented. You should pick it up if you can.
Okay, so Jake dashes over to this guy, whips out his daggers, and stabs it into his heart, or where his heart would be, and then continues on about his day. So the Wraith screeches like a banshee, even though it's a Wraith and not a banshee. It still lets out a high-pitched shriek. And it is now this guy's turn. So it throws its bow into the dirt, draws out a short sword, and proceeds to take a couple swings at our boy Jake. And whips out its long sword and takes 2 big overhand slashes, and Jake just side slips and parries them both with a minimum of difficulty. And it is now this guy. He is going to try and grope at Tink.
Who hasn't?
Yeah.
Do your worst.
You're at 21, I believe, right, Tink?
Yeah.
Okay, so he gropes at you, and just you put your shield in the way, and his claws spark off of the holy symbol on your shield with a piss.
With a piss.
With a hiss.
No, like
This guy moves over here, and he is going to fire a couple arrows at Barditas. He's trying to take out the counter range guy. What's your AC, Barditas?
17.
17. 2 whiffs. Yep, 2 whiffs. So he fires 2 arrows that go whizzing over your head. And it is Biddy's turn.
Nice. Well, I guess I could shoot the Wraith with advantage before it unfreezes, but it's probably better.
It is actually unfrozen, yeah.
No,
it's at the start of your turn, right?
It says end of my turn.
Oh, okay. All right. You don't have advantage against him because he's incapacitated. You do not have advantage on this attack.
Oh, you don't get. For some reason, I thought you got advantage. But anyway,
he's not paralyzed. He's incapacitated. Not quite the same.
I see. Well, it has damage resistance anyway, so I think I'm going to move over here and shoot this damaged white in the south with a firebolt.
Okay, so the ranged guys are squaring. All right, so gunfight over here. Got it.
Time for a gunfight, yeah. And that would be a 21 to hit.
That's a hit.
Okie dokie. 2d10. What do we got here? Be an 11.
Okay, so you blast a couple bolts of fire in him, and some of his bones get darkened and black.
Alrighty, well that'll do for the barbecue this round. I'll just stay here and not do anything else.
Okay, Biddy's done. Select your
powder dry.
So the Wraith is back in action. He is back to he starts moving again. Biddy's time hop ends and he snaps back into reality.
I'm letting him come back.
Yeah, I will step forward one. So does the guy directly in front of me look damaged, or is
it's barely there? Like it's basically just some disembodied claws and a wisp of what appears to be 2 hate-filled eyes.
And that's a Wraith beside me on the left there.
This is
sounds like my second wife.
On the left and a specter. Nothing but eyes filled with hate and vicious claws.
What did you say? This is my second wife?
I'm gonna hit the Wraith.
Okay, swing away.
Nine plus 9, 18.
18 is a hit.
Just a second. 4 plus 6, or no, 3 plus 6.
So 9 bludgeoning?
9 bludgeoning and 1 radiant.
Okay, so 10 damage because your weapon is magic. Got it. Okay. So you walk up and wallop him in the face.
Yep, and that's it.
It hisses at you. You will die. All of you will die. And it is, anything else, or?
That's it. I don't have a lot of bonus actions.
That's fine. If you're done, just say, I'm done. Just when you're finished, say, that's it, I'm done. Silk, you're up then. Keep going with the gunfight over here with this Wraith, or you want to switch targets?
Smoke this Wraith.
He looks pretty scorched. Biddy's firebolt got him pretty good. His bones and armor are blackened. He's a little bit of smoke's coming out of what tattered bits of sinew are still attached to him. So he's got like some tendons, and there's a little bit of meat still in there somewhere, and most of that meat it appears to be cooking.
Is he within 120 feet?
Oh yeah, he's definitely in range. Yeah.
Oh, then yeah, I'll throw a couple blasts.
If he's shooting at you with a bow and with a longbow, you can Eldritch Blast him back.
Okay. Well then, yeah, I'm gonna fire a couple bolts at him.
Okay.
He gets criticaled and a 6, and then there's a 16 on the other one.
16 is also a hit. So roll 2d10 for your critical. Right. Actually, rather doesn't yours do? Doesn't yours do? Yeah, you have 2 bolts of d10 each. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So the critical does 11.
Got it.
And the other one does 5. So
okay, so you throw 2 Eldritch Blasts right into his center mass, and he explodes into a cloud of bone shrapnel. He is gone.
Far out, man.
His sword and shield clank to the ground, and there's nothing over there but a broken longbow that's now a blistering heap.
Cool. And otherwise, I'm just going to kind of reposition so I can throw more blasts in the future at something.
Okay, so move to where you want to be, and then it is Tink's turn.
If I move up to here, will I be able to throw stuff at the guy Jake's fighting?
Yeah, I mean, just count the squares. So 120 is, what, 25, 22, 23 squares?
Yeah.
120 feet. It's 24 squares.
20.
So probably... You actually might
okay.
be able to hit him from where you're at. But if you want to move 6 squares closer, that's fine. Tink, what are you doing here?
So we no longer have an enemy in front of us. Is that correct?
You are next to 2 enemies. If you wanted to Word of Radiance and hit everything around you again, you could move into this square and hit both of these guys.
Yes, please.
Okay, so that's a Constitution save. So the Wraith appears to be unaffected, and the Spectre... Oh, roll damage on the Spectre, because you got him.
2d6, isn't it?
Yep, 2d6 radiant.
9.
Okay, so you hit him with the Word of Radiance. The Wraith shrieks and goes, "Hey!" but appears to be mostly not harmed. The Spectre just evaporates in the dawn. In the bright light of your holy word, he just evaporates into tatters of faint, gross-smelling smoke.
Be gone!
Anything else?
No.
Okay, Colonel, you're up.
Okay, so this guy's left, right? And he's not time frozen anymore.
He is no longer frozen in time. That is correct.
Let's do it. I'm going to swing at him. Do I get my sneak damage?
You do, because both Slexi and both Bardic, both Soul Setter and Galapagos are there menacing him as well. So
24 to hit.
That's a hit. So as he shies away from the blast of holy light that emanates from Tink, he squints a little bit, and you use that opportunity to land a good sucker punch.
19 plus 6 is 25 damage.
That was a really good sucker punch. Okay, so as he shies away from Tink's holy light, you skewer him through the ears, and he evaporates into a cloud of black sludge. Just like, and hisses and fades away.
Marty gives a big thumbs up to his turtle friend.
So that guy is dead.
Has anyone actually taken any damage?
Glad we won't have to pay out any alimony.
You guys are hard to hit.
We are
It
hard
helps
to hit.
with Jake around, also killing everything. And kind of
Yeah.
Also did major cleanup.
Every party should have a Mary Sue NPC.
Okay, so the white pulls out a longsword, and he actually does manage to hit Jake with his longsword.
What?
I spoke too soon, and I regret it deeply, and I'd like to apologize.
How dare you?
I'm looking to see what
That was not my
Jake
intent
gets beheaded.
to jinx the party.
Now, look, is this an audio meme?
This has all gone quite well.
Yes.
Yes.
Silk's version of Galapagos sounds like Ronald Reagan to me.
What?
Well, we have some tough choices to act. No, like that voice. It immediately goes to like a college professor I had, who I'm pretty sure was like senile, because he would be like, "Yes, we had my warrior kitty had to go to the vet today. She clawed me on the face, so that is why there's a bandage there. And it's also a special holiday in Guatemala celebrating the return of," and it would just be like some long-winded thing that had nothing to do with anything. We're just like,
I mean, my first question is why?
So he
would
was
the
just
cat
an
have
old
to go
person, right?
Why would the cat
Yeah.
have to go to the vet after she scratched you?
well, no,
What did you do to her? What did you infect her with?
I have no idea, man. You're asking questions about a guy that passed away like 10 years ago. I legit do not know.
All right, so
Well, start up the investigation.
this guy whips his longsword out, and he drops his longsword, and he just reaches out to grab Jake, and he grazes his cheek a little bit, and a small line of blood appears on Jake's cheek. He doesn't seem to even notice or care. And this man is dead, so it is up to Biddy then.
Sweet, I guess I'll just throw another firebolt his way. Give him a little toasty.
Oh, wait, actually it's Jake's turn. I'm sorry. Hold on a minute.
Okay.
So, after he gets scratched on the cheek, he scoffs a little bit. Wow, that's a bad roll.
Are you
I think that still
fucking
hits.
kidding
Let me
me?
look. It actually still hits. And He gets 1, 2, 3. Okay. Oh wait, nope, this is wrong. He did not move far enough this turn. Okay, so this guy grazes Jake's cheek, and Jake pulls out his knife and sticks it into his groin. He appears to be very badly injured. Jake says, "You know, this works better against living targets. Fucking dick shot, and this guy doesn't even care."
Got him in the boner.
And now it's Biddy's turn.
Oh, that's funny.
He's like, dick shots have more. Dick shots have more style when stuff has a dick.
All right, I'm just gonna give him the old firebolt.
Okay.
Not very good.
He's a little harder to hit because Jake is providing him cover. So.
Or half cover because of my wand.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yep.
But I still might miss. I got a 14.
That's a hit.
Okay, sweet. Let's do some damage. Ooh, 19.
And that's fire, correct?
Fire, yeah.
Got it.
Fire.
They're bad.
Okay. So some of his bones are scorched and black. He's looking pretty troubled. Biddy, anything else?
Nah, that's all.
Slex, you're up.
I will move forward, I guess.
It's a good thing you guys left your horses behind.
Why is that? Would the whites just have killed them all or something?
Their goal was to kill your horses.
That makes
Looking
sense.
out
Since
for
they
the
were
horses.
all that strong, I guess. Sniping the horses was their best bet.
Sorry, I got distracted.
Based on the way these guys have been fighting, you can tell that their intent doesn't seem to be to actually defeat you, but slow you down. You guys have been in enough battles to sort of gather from their tactics. They're really just trying to slow you down. It's 55 feet away, Slex.
I don't have a lot that goes 60 feet.
Just dash or dodge. I mean, that guy ain't going anywhere, and also, he looks real rough, like he's looking pretty beaten up.
Yeah, I'll dash. Just go there.
He's got 2 daggers in what
Fuck
would
it,
be...
I'll just dodge.
He's got 2
can't
daggers in
recognize.
what would be vital parts of a living person, so...
There? Yeah, okay. I dashed.
You're up, so...
Let's see here. I can't move quite enough to get to have an unobstructed shot, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw a couple of bolts anyway.
Okay.
So, all right, first bolt, since he gets advantage. Oh, that one missed.
It looks like 1 miss and a critical.
Yeah, I thought he gets advantage because he's got partial cover.
No, it's not. It makes him slightly... It raises his armor class by 2. He's just too harder to hit.
Yeah.
So that's a miss and a crit.
Okay, then we'll just roll for how badly I jacked up. You take 6 force.
Okay. So you lash Eldritch Bolt into him, hits him right in the center of his mass, and he's got some like studded leather armor still clinging to what's left of his body, but it catches on fire and starts to smolder. Anything else?
Nope, done.
Tink, you're up.
Yuki. So there are no enemies left on the screen.
Even if you sprinted, you could not get next to an enemy. Like you're far enough away now that even if you ran full tilt, you're not going to get to anybody.
Kindly sprint me towards the nearest one.
You got it. You can be there.
Run, Galapagos, run!
So the turtle goes and starts skittering across the ground. You hear the clump, clump, clump of his shell as the bottom of his shell touches into the ground as he trundles along. And you are up, Colonel.
Yeah, I'm also pretty far away. So if
you could get adjacent to him, but not attack. Like if you use your dash action to move, you could get into a square that's adjacent to him, but you wouldn't have an action left to attack with. So
that's fine. Let's do that, and then I'll be in position to
okay
attack next turn.
So you dash up to there, and
Is
it
he
is
still alive next turn?
yeah, it's Jake's turn. So he whips out one of his. He actually is going to, now that you're here, he slips over here around this guy. And he slices the Wraith's head from it, or this white, he slices its head from its torso, and it crumples to the ground in a smoldering heap of bones.
Bye, White.
He reaches up and wipes a drop of blood away from his cheek and flicks it into the snow. He goes, man, can't believe it got me. Also, it seems weird to you guys that he bleeds.
Yes,
Yeah,
I was about to say, my medical interest is peaked.
I mean, the illusion has to be perfect.
Well, that was, I mean, they're trying to slow us down, I think. Did you guys get that? Feels like they knew they were overmatched, but
Let's go. Let's
Sure,
try
yeah.
and catch these.
while
Good
you were
summon,
fighting, while you guys were fighting there, you noticed that the remainder of the party seems to have vastly increased their pace.
In total, how long was that scrap?
36 seconds.
Yeah, I can.
Didn't delay us for long.
So, notwithstanding Alexis's instructions to come in 25 minutes, I can summon my broom back if it's within 1 mile of us, just with part of the broom's features. So,
So when you try that, it doesn't work.
Oh,
Huh.
God damn it.
Jake's like, oh, yeah. Hey, Alexa! And you hear a disembodied voice that comes out of somewhere on his person. Or he says, hey, Alexis. She's like, yes, Jake, how can I help you? He's like, could you bring the horses up? She's like, bringing up the horses. Would you like to buy some horse food or perhaps some shoe shine from one of SedgewickCo's great vendors? And he's like, Alexis, shut up and just bring the horses. You've got it.
Did she call him Dick?
No?
No,
Yeah.
call him Jake.
Jake.
Jake. His
Not
name is
Jake. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay,
No,
so you
not
guys wait,
Jake.
and like 3 or 4 minutes later, the horses arrive. Jake recollects his Alexis device from your broom. He's like, "Yeah, thanks for loaning me your broom." He tucks that back to in his pocket, and as he's tucking it away, Alexis is like, "You seem to have disengaged me from a broom of flying. Would you like to order your own broom of flying from one of SedgewickCo's great And then he shoves it into his pocket. God damn, I hate that fucking annoying bitch. So it looks like whatever is over there, and he's looking, and you guys actually, the other team of guys, really rapidly sped up their pace and have gone over a hill.
Shitty. Okay.
And it's sort of getting dark. It's also getting real cold.
Yeah.
Jake, do you think you'll still be able to track him in the morning if we let them get
Can he track him at night? I mean, we can stay warm and
Yes to both. I can track them. I'm pretty sure I could track them in the nighttime. I already saw through their pass without a trace. I don't know what they're going to do to make themselves harder to follow than use that in the snow. So, pretty sure I can follow them wherever they happen to go unless they get south of the wall. And it's not that I couldn't follow them there, but I ain't going south of the wall because I'm not an idiot and I don't feel like committing suicide. So, if they get to the wall, we're going to have to revisit the plan.
We have to stop them before they get to the wall. And how far away from the wall are we again?
Like
Pretty far.
2.5 weeks of straight travel. Like 550 miles.
Yeah.
The question is if we stop.
Oh, we can't stop, he says. They're already outpacing us. I'm guessing some kind of... make an Arcana roll, Biddy. And also probably Slexi and Tink, too. Barditas, you as well.
So is he saying we can't stop for a rest? Is
Correct. We gotta go.
Yeah.
Okay. You said Arcana? Yeah.
Yes.
I got
everybody who can cast a spell make an Arcana check.
I got
So basically
13.
everybody but the Colonel.
Sadly, not very good.
No magic, only stabbing.
Sorry, Colonel.
Can I do a stabbing check?
16.
Tinks, you can tell whatever was those beasts that were on the hill, they have some kind of magic spell that has enhanced their speed. So they are making vastly... They're outpacing you, but that sort of spell typically has a relatively limited duration. They might be able to cast it a couple times.
10 minutes
in front
or
of you.
something like that. Yeah.
So they've been somehow magically accelerated, but if you stop for the night to like rest or take a short rest or anything like that, they're definitely going to get a very big lead on you. And you're running out of... Jake's like, well, I mean, we can't let them get too far ahead because we're running out of shoe shine. And he gets out his shoe shine box, and it's like there's only about half of it left in the jug. And as you see, when he gets out there, she's like, we're almost out of shoe shine. Alexis, you hear a muffled voice from there go, Would you like to order some more shoe shine? I can see that you're almost out. We can add shoe shine to your monthly. He's like, shut the fuck up, Alexis.
All right. Yeah, let's just push on.
Let's just go until we
mount back up and resume chasing.
Okay, so you guys hop back on ye old horses. And
is there any advantage to having Jake like take the broom and try to like harass them?
He is faster than your broom on foot.
Okay, or just suggest that he get out ahead and start like harassing them, or is that too
I mean, I could probably do that, but they're just gonna have me they're just gonna take one of the giants and have them try and slow me down so the rest of them can escape with whatever it is they've got. Also, I mean, stone giant's pretty tough, dude. I don't know if I want to go one-on-one with 3 stone giants. I mean, I'm okay to scrap.
One-on-one them, but just like see if you can like peel them off a little bit and slow them down.
Also, I don't know. I don't know what's in that palanquin, dude.
Yeah. Or who?
It's obvious. It's obviously whatever has sped them up. I would say. I think that's a reasonable guess.
Turtle Man's got a good guess. I'm guessing there's some kind of like magic user in that thing because those dudes appear to be hasted and moving like sons of bitches. I don't want to fight 3 hasted stone giants and the spellcaster that hasted them. I mean, I'm good, but I got limits.
But the other thing is of course how else could they have stolen this bloody thing without something pretty powerful to do?
This turtle has got his shit together, man. Not just anybody comes up and robs Sedgwick. So what,
a lot of people come up and kidnap him apparently, but
yes.
It's a little more
no, he surrenders to kidnappers.
Well, I mean that's different. So
yeah, his tendency seems to be that he surrenders.
I'm sure the Sedgwick bot probably surrendered because I think that's in their protocols. Is like that's the top of their logic stack is try and surrender or try and get kidnapped is sort of I mean that's their job. They're supposed to get kidnapped.
You probably shouldn't have had this very dangerous one have that be his first result though. Just when we get it back.
Okay, fine. Yeah, let me know when you make a sentient dimension hopping robot and see if you get it exactly right with perfect logic on the first try.
I'm just saying.
I'm pretty sure the top of my logic stack is try to get drunk.
Or try to
No.
Anyway, to answer the wizard's question, the answer to answer the wizard's question is I could do that, but I'm not gonna. So
let's just
let's get in there and listen then.
If I wanted to fight these guys by myself, I would have just came alone.
If we
just exploring strategic possibilities.
Can
you fill us in on who these enemies are, like what they're strong and weak?
I have no idea. I mean, they're some kind of giant, and they're definitely undead, so probably don't throw necrotic damage or poison at them.
All right, fair enough.
Well, we have.
Let's not burn.
So we basically to get Sedgwick's help, despite my all of my mistaken outbursts that almost made it impossible. We to get his help to work out the goddamn dagger, we have to get this sucker.
No, not necessarily, but
So we've
Sedgwick
got to move.
seemed disinclined to help you because this is a vastly more important than him telling you about a dagger. Or, well, effectively, building a device to analyze your dagger. He seemed much more concerned about this rogue Sedgwick bot than he does about your small troubles.
Well, it also sounds like a clear and present danger if it falls into the wrong hands, because it's like there's some super weapon.
Based on the way Sedgwick described it, it seemed like a real bad idea to let somebody who's evil and powerful have control of this bot.
We have to be pertinacious in this.
Because the Sedgwick bot's code is going to be do whatever your captive tells you to do.
Yeah.
If you're taken captive and your captor tells you to do something, do it.
Yeah, so we need to stay the course and do our best to stop this. And obviously, we will be relying upon you, Jake, but we're certainly not asking you to go beyond the wall, and we couldn't possibly do that ourselves.
I'm not going over the wall.
No.
Build the wall.
Nobody goes over the wall. People who go over the wall don't come back. Well, they don't come back alive. Sometimes they come back, but they don't come back, like they were before they went over.
I do not see we have much choice.
Well, get on your horses then. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's get running.
Okay, so you guys mount back up. Jake goes back in the lead. Biddy, are you doing the 75 feet in the air, flying on your broom? Diddy is muted. He may be AFK.
He's given up.
Oh, sorry. What was that? I was just stepped away. For
Are
1
you
second.
going? Are you going back up to do aerial reconnaissance from your 75 feet?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Do me a favor if you're going to fly high. It's getting nighttime. It's getting real cold. You're gonna have to make a Constitution check for that.
If it's too cold where I'm having to make checks, I'll just stay lower.
Okay, so you're flying just at about horse height then with the rest of the group.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
Andy wouldn't
guys,
be able to see.
you guys begin trekking. Jake is periodically still applying the remainder of the shoe shine to the horses, so the horses are having good speed. But you guys are, it's not, like the sun is almost set, so it's getting sort of dark. It's getting really, really, really cold. Does anybody have any cold mitigation stuff? Like a ring of warmth, or do you guys have some classes and abilities just make you
warm thoughts?
Lets me warm a cubic foot of non-living material for 1 hour.
Yeah, so that doesn't keep you warm.
I was about to say, you selfish bastard. 1 cubic foot.
It says specifically non-living matter.
Yeah, but I could warm like a weapon, and you could just use it as like a hand warm. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not perfect, but
sort of impractical while traveling over land on horses. Like if you were camped somewhere, you could definitely use that to just warm up some rocks and keep warm. But I don't know. Not sure how you would practically apply that while traveling on a horse.
Everyone could just hold a rock that's warm or something and use it.
Less restoration.
If you want to make like stone warmers for your hands, that's okay, but it's not enough to combat this sort of cold. If you have like endure elements or something like that, lesser restoration, like if you were suffering from frostbite or fatigue or something.
Yeah, or prevention. Does it act? Do
no,
any of these
it is.
things,
It is a cure. It is not.
preventative?
It is not preventative. It is fixative.
Okay. Well, in which case,
if you get frostbite, it'll fix it. It doesn't prevent you from getting frostbite.
Yeah,
there are other different
warm
spells that would prevent you from getting frostbite, though. Just I don't know if you guys have any prepared or ready.
Warm rock's not enough to like give any kind of advantage or benefit.
Again, if you weren't traveling by horseback, I would say yes, but in this case, no. You can't effectively get a big enough rock to keep you warm while also successfully navigating a horse galloping through the snow. That's a pretty difficult thing to do.
What about just casting on everyone's cloaks or like clothing?
I mean, it would help. Okay, everybody make a Constitution check for me. Also, prestidigitation, I don't know. How long does that only last? A minute, right?
Ooh, 18 plus...
Yeah, but it can be done.
Last 1 hour. And it's a cantrip. You can just keep
16?
doing it.
Okay, so let's go down to stack. Colonel, what'd you
20.
get?
16 for me.
Okay, Colonel, you're fine. Jake doesn't need to roll because he is immune to cold. Biddy, what'd you get?
The con save, you said?
Yes, Constitution.
A save or a check?
It is a save. Constitution save.
Okay, I got a 20.
Okay, you're cool. Slexy?
I got 14.
Okay, you're good. Silk?
14.
Also good. Tink, you got a 20?
20.
Okay, so it's really cold, but you guys are, you got some snot running down your noses. Some of your beards are getting crusted a little bit with ice. Actually, probably none of you have a beard, with the exception of maybe Slexy.
No.
Doesn't Martinique have a sort of kinky...
Do you have like
mustache?
a Fu Manchu kind of goatee sort of thing, Martinique? You have a goatee in my vision. You got an Errol Flynn goatee. That's the way.
I've been picturing Marty as clean shaven and relatively hygienic, so I don't think he's sporting a beard.
Okay,
well,
so no
you certainly
snot sickles
haven't created
for you,
that
then.
impression.
No snot sickles for Martinique then, but you do have your lips are really chapped, so kissing you is going to be unpleasant.
Marty's gonna try and stay close to Bardithos for warmth.
Okay, so snuggling on a horseback, like trying to use a rock to keep warm, is sort of not practical, but you can go over there and flash fuck me eyes at him while you ride. That's fine.
I'm saying I cast it on clothing to make it a little less unwieldy.
Well, I first of all,
that's fine. You make your cloak warm, but while your cloak is warm, it's really, really cold. So
I think
it's just not quite powerful enough to stop it.
I thank our magician friend.
Just so you know, Biddy, if you're doing the cloak, since you were doing the cloak thing, I lowered the DC on your save for a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm doing it on everybody. I think I can do it on everyone.
Yeah, you can
right?
cycle it through. If it lasts an hour, you can just keep cycling.
So it's just an hour. I can just keep it up on everyone because it can't.
That's fine. Yeah,
is that just straight prestidigitation?
Yeah, it's a really good spell. It does all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah, I have that too, so I can also.
Okay. Yeah, between the two, you guys are like warming cloaks and mittens to help. So Wasn't enough to make you not have to take a save, but it did make it a little easier to endure the cold. So you guys are fine. You're nobody's frostbit or feeling any kind of fatigue or anything. You just got some unpleasantness, chapped lips. Your eyes are a little bit burny from windburn. You got some extra rosy cheeks.
Does the cantrip Hand of Radiance, which sort of creates a burning radiance, does that have any sort of?
It is not like the warmth
positive effect.
It is like a holy burst of magical power. It does not make you warm. It makes you dead. So you guys ride then for a couple more hours, and it's nighttime, but also it's not dark. It's like twilight. You guys are riding in. Jake's like, yep, okay, sunset, sort of. If anybody wants to question him about why it's nighttime, but also why the sun's still up, you can.
Especially in winter.
Yeah, your guys' survival is high enough. You're like, oh, well, the sun, yeah. We're at that time of year where the sun doesn't actually go down because we're getting close enough to the poles where it's that time of
summer.
year.
This is summer.
Well, it's this. You're in the southern hemisphere at the moment, so.
The southern hemisphere is summer, I guess.
Yeah. So, well, yes, it's summer where you are. Well, technically, it's as summer as it gets down here. Some of this cold is not necessarily seasonal.
Yeah.
You live in a world of magic. Well, you live in a world of magic, so some of this is there are other sources. But yeah, the sun goes. Ordinarily, the sun would have set, but you can't see the sun anymore. But also, it's not dark enough to give you any kind of penalties. There's like a twilight. It's like dusky.
So Marty wants to ask because Jake mentioned that wraiths have a hard time fighting at night. Does this
actually
count
in the day they have a problem in the daytime?
Like, does this still count as day for them, or?
Well, there's a reason the white was so ineffective in combat because he was suffering from some significant penalties for fighting in the daytime.
They got like disadvantage or something.
They got a permanent disadvantage right now.
He was having some problems. Well, I mean, would they now? No, because it's not daytime anymore.
Does magical daylight affect them?
Absolutely, yes.
Very good, thank you.
So there are some critters that magical daylight will do damage to, like vampires and shadows and stuff. There's there's a cleric spell called Daylight that's specifically for that.
Yeah,
indeed.
So you guys continue riding. For a while, you couldn't even see the pack, but after about 3 hours, you can tell that you are once again gaining on them. Whatever magical abilities they had possessed seem to have worn off, and you're now making pace. So Jake's like, well, we're closing in on him. I don't know. There's I don't know what they're doing. They're going somewhere, and he points to the southwest because their course has changed a little bit. They were going like just east of due south. They've actually swung a little bit further to the east, and now they're going almost parallel to the wall instead of almost directly to it.
Right.
It seems like maybe their objective has changed, and off in the distance you can see a series of low sort of, I don't want to say hills because it's not, but they're like cliffs made of ice, and it looks like they may be heading towards those cliff faces.
Have you been there before, Jake?
I mean, yeah, it's just sort of where the ice pack is broken up a little bit, and there's some, I don't know, Sedgwick said something about a tectonic plate. I don't know what the hell that is. But, it's kind of upheaval. If you go further enough east out into the water, there's some volcanoes when you get out into the ocean a little bit. But mostly it's just places where the ice is broken and like big pieces of it have come up, and it makes sort of like, have you ever been in the mountains? It's sort of like a Badlands or a foothills, except it's all ice.
Can I ask a DM question, please?
Sure.
In the earlier session, you were describing to us that the ice shelf that would normally form during winter was broken up to prevent circumvention of the wall.
Yeah, there are services that the Dragonmyrth Silver Guard engage in. They have crews and services that use icebreaker ships and magic and whatnot to make certain that they keep the ice pack that would normally flow around and allow stuff to walk past the wall. They actually go down and break that up so that there is no icy pathway to get around the wall.
That's something Jake aware? May I ask, Jake, are you aware of any local enforcement agencies that are currently engaged in breaking the ice?
No, I mean, we're like 200 miles from the coast, dude.
Well, I mean, I saw the map, right? The extension of the ice flow seemed to be quite.
You're like,
quite
yeah, but
big.
you're like 200 miles from where the water is. You're on ground now. This is not. You're not on an ice pack in the ocean. You're on land with snow on top of it. You're a couple hundred miles from the coast.
We're pretty far inland, right, at this point.
This is permafrost inland, yeah.
Yeah. So, no is the answer to your question. I mean, there's probably some ships and icebreakers out there doing the jobs, but they're not going to be of any help. They're way too far away. Also, we're going to catch them in a little while. Like, if we hurry up, we might get them before they get to those cliffs.
Yeah, let's kill them.
Yeah, but if you're worried about dealing with giants, I should be worried too, right?
Well, I mean, that's why I brought you guys. I'm worried about fighting 3 giants and whatever's in that palanquin by myself. But, you guys could take a giant, probably, right? Can you guys take a giant? Now he looks a little worried. It's like, you can take a giant, right?
I mean, I haven't yet, but I mean, we could maybe.
Sing him a love song.
He looks a little nonplussed, and he's like, so, okay. Could be. Your response ain't exactly filling me with a whole lot of confidence there, Captain Bard. Aren't you supposed to be the inspiring sort? Shouldn't you be like, yeah, we can fuck up a giant. We eat them for breakfast. What kind of bard are you?
Pragmatic kind.
This is where I'm just going to start playing Despacito.
Okay.
On the loop while we're writing. Because I don't know what to do. I'm going to be like, I'm so confused. Let's play Despacito.
That ain't exactly encouraging either, but I guess at least you ain't playing the Deguayo, so we got that going for us.
Look,
I was just about to say.
We mostly just murder people in the streets. We haven't really killed many giants, but I think the skills translate.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
we mostly do the robbing and murdering.
Well, okay, so murder is in your skill set. That's good. That's the one we're going to focus on. When you find a giant, do that.
Sounds like a plan.
Got it.
Do that, except higher. Like, normally you would stab level at higher. Stab up. That's how you fight giants. Up. Stab up. He seems not reassured. He actually quickens his pace a little bit and starts moving out in front of the party, but beyond earshot a little bit, because it seems like he's now a little concerned about your safety.
Oh, muttering to
I have a feeling I should use game
You
voice.
do hear some him quietly muttering, and you hear some muffled responses from inside his coat in the Alexis voice.
Talking to Alexa.
Everybody make a perception roll for me. Colonel, you have advantage on this.
Okay. That was a 6.
19.
Colonel's insight for fighting gives her a little
19.
I got a 20.
So who beat a 15?
Me.
I got a 29.
Okay. Everybody who beat a 15, you hear something as the wind carries back to you a little whisper, something about Alexis order 5 tombstones.
Great. Well,
I presume those aren't for the horses.
Could be. There was something about engraving and names that you also caught in the wind, but you didn't hear anything specific. You assume Tink, your guy, Galapagos assumes that he's ordering tombstones for horses. Yeah. Oh, he's going to bury the horses. That's quite nice of him.
Alexis, how do you spell?
But how do the
That's
name
not
of my
my
horse?
intention.
It's lettuce. But then I guess that's not a very hard guess.
So you guys travel on into what would now be basically the dead of night. It's like 10:30, 11 o'clock. It is just viciously cold. Unless any of you have been in this part of the world before, it is the coldest you have ever been. Jake doesn't even seem to notice. Like, he's not even wearing a coat. He's not wearing a coat, and he is wearing a shirt without sleeves. So he doesn't seem to notice the cold at all. But you guys are closing in on the sort of the butte, is I guess the best way to describe it, except it is a sheer cliff of solid ice. And as you wander up to it, you get up, and it looks like your foes are going to make it before you arrive, and in fact they do. But when you finally catch up to them, the scene is about to change. So